So please, if you would take your seats, bang the gavel. Wow, that was a reaction. Great. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Meeting number 2025-0911R.
Tonight's music selection was God Bless America, performed by Celine Dion. The music selection for the September 25th City Commission meeting will be made by Commissioner Rydell. We'd like to remind everyone to please silence your mobile devices. To help with sound quality, please make sure to speak clearly and directly into your microphone, and mute your microphone when you're not speaking. If anyone is having trouble hearing at any point during the meeting, please raise your hand and someone will bring you an audio assistance device. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Kavanaugh, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell.
Here.
Commissioner Welch.
Here.
Commissioner Brody.
Here.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Here.
Mayor Raley.
Here.
City Manager Rose.
Here.
City Attorney Piper.
Here. At this time, I would like to ask Chief Hoffer and Chief Blizzard to please join us and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please, everyone, stand.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we begin tonight's agenda, I'd like to pause and recognize today as not only the greatest tragedy on home soil, but also the fact that so many heroes were made known to us. Our first responders, regular citizens, friends, everybody reached out to somebody. I hope I can get through this. While everybody was running away from this disaster where over almost 3,000 lives were lost, our first responders were running towards it and in it without even thinking twice. I'm sorry. I lived in Brooklyn, and we basically lived through this. So it's extremely close to us, to me, to my family. We've lost so many friends who've lost children. But you guys are the true heroes. We got through this and we rebuilt and we came out stronger than ever. That was an amazing time for us, for the United States. We need to recapture that feeling. I don't know what's going on in the world today, but we need to start thinking that we are one country. We are one. We're working for the same results. And I hope today that we can find that in our hearts. And you know what they say, change starts with you, with us. We have to be the ones to set the example. The hate that's going on in this world today is unacceptable. We really need to reach out to someone and make sure that we're okay and have conversation. And I'm sorry for the way I'm reacting. You guys are special. Every first responder, everyone that helped another individual or that goes out every day, you guys don't know what you're going to come across. And that's amazing that you come in here with a smile on your face and you support us, but yet you don't know what you're going to see when you get out there. And God bless you. Get home safe every night, because you mean too much to us. And I hope every one of you realize how much we support you and how much you mean to us. So God bless you, and God bless America. Sorry. Okay, I'm okay. I'm okay. So we have Fire Chief and Police Chief here now, and what you see in front of you is a piece of the World Trade Center. So at this time, I'd like everyone to join us in a moment of silence to honor the victims of September 11th and to reflect on the enduring legacy of each and every one of them, and those and the families that are still suffering through the effects of 9/11. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now for the fun part of the agenda. Okay. City Attorney, please.
Thank you, Mayor Raley. This meeting is being conducted live with a physical quorum present. The material for today's meeting is available online at coconutcreek.net. Anyone wishing to appeal any decision made will need a record of the proceedings, and for such purpose may need to ensure that a verbatim recording of the proceedings is made, including the testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is to be based. The archive of this meeting may be requested from the city clerk or may be heard online at coconutcreek.net. If you haven't already, please silence your mobile devices. If you must take a call, please excuse yourself and step outside. Respect and proper decorum will be maintained throughout the meeting. Vocal outbursts, jeering, cheering, or applause can impair the rights of others and derail the decision-making process.
Okay. Thank you. We have a presentation, a swearing-in ceremony for new police officers, Juan Camilo Acosta, Castrillian, and K.D. Hegemon. I hope I did that right. Chief of Police Fred Hofer will conduct the presentation, and City Clerk Kavanaugh will administer the oath of office, followed by the badge pinning.
Good evening, Commissioners, Vice Mayor, Mayor, City Manager, City Attorney, City Clerk. Yeah, tonight we have, it's one of the things that we really enjoy. We get to swear in 2 new members of the Coconut Creek Police Department family. So since we have 2, this is what we would like to do. I'm going to call the first one up. We'll start with Officer Kai Hedgeman. If you can come forward and stand. All right, let me tell you a little bit about Kai, who goes by Hedge, is originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. He later relocated to Jacksonville, Florida, where he graduated from Atlantic Coast High School. A dedicated multi-sport athlete, he competed in swimming, track, basketball, and football. His athletic achievements earned him a football scholarship to Austin Peay State University, where he graduated with a degree in general studies and communication. Coming from a family deeply rooted in public service, his mother is a financial crimes investigator with the federal government, and his father is a sergeant with the New Orleans Police Department. Kai was inspired from an early age to serve and protect his community. In 2024, he began his law enforcement career with the Coral Springs Police Department, gaining valuable experience and reinforcing his commitment to the profession. Having always aspired to live and work in South Florida, Kai is proud to continue his career in a place he's long considered his ideal home. Officer Hedgeman looks forward to serving the Coconut Creek community. I have a round of applause for Kai. Okay, next, I call Juan Camilo Acosta Castellon to the stage, please. Is that right? Did I get it right? All right. I have to say that name 4 more times. We'll take a shot at it. Officer Juan Camilo Acosta Castrillon was born in Bogota, Colombia. He moved to Miami in 1999, where he attended school and where he still lives. Part-time, I hope. His educational background is in healthcare administration, where he had the opportunity to work in the emergency room setting, thus witnessing first responders constructively serving their community together. In 2022, Officer Acosta Castrillon started his journey in law enforcement. He self-sponsored his education at Miami-Dade College North Campus School of Justice and graduated in the fall of 2023. After graduating, he had the privilege to work as a police officer for Miami-Dade Schools Police and the Village of Pinecrest Police Department. Officer Castellon proudly and eagerly looks forward to serving his new home at the City of Coconut Creek Police Department. And here to support Officer Castellon tonight are his father, stepmother, mother, 2 brothers, and sister-in-law. So a round of applause. So now I'd ask the city clerk to please administer the oath of office. Okay. So at this time, I'd like to request the Sergeant Kennard Garvey come on stage and Juan's brother to pin them. One poke is allowed. All right. Juan, if I could ask you to step aside for a little bit. Now, would the commissioners like to get a picture with Officer Hedgeman? We're going to do that with each, and then we'll ask the family to come up and take a picture after. While they're walking forward, Sergeant Garvey is he's in charge of our recruitment efforts. Him and a few other officers are the reason why we are almost fully staffed. Well, all right. Kennard. There you go. Okay. All right. Juan's family and friends want to come up and take a picture? Come on up. Okay. You want to make, you know who they are? You want to make an announcement? Oh, yeah.
Cardinelli just retired.
Who is he?
Cardinelli just graduated.
And Vinny.
Just graduated.
Yeah, but who's the guy?
Kugemi.
Okay. Academy. All right. Thanks, guys. Now, if we can get all the officers to come join the new officers up here for a big photograph. Come on up, everybody. And while we're walking up, I just wanted to recognize both two other officers that are in the back of the room, Officer Cardarelli, who graduated the police academy yesterday, and Officer Academy, who started the police academy recently.
And Chief, just so you know, I've never seen anybody shoot 3 points like Vinny. That's all I got to say on that.
Yeah, sure. Start over.
Everybody smile. There we go. Good. We gotta go to work.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations to our graduates as well. Okay. I'll give them a minute. Congratulations to our newest members of our Coconut Creek family. Okay. We will now have input from the public on non-agenda or consent agenda items. I remind everyone wishing to speak that all comments must pertain to city business. Respect and proper decorum will be maintained. Behavior that disrupts the orderly conduct of this meeting, such as clapping, doesn't include us. Shouting, booing, and cheering is not permitted. Any person who violates the decorum rules will be subject to removal from the commission chambers. City Clerk Kavanaugh, is there anyone who has signed in to speak on non-agenda or consent agenda items?
Yes, Mayor. Brandon Hendrick signed up to speak on agenda item number 6 on consent.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to provide any input? Seeing none? Okay.
Mayor, maybe pre-poll 6.
Okay. I'll read them and then you could, shall I read them and then we can pull it?
Yeah, I only
Yes.
say that because everyone's here to speak. It's easier to
Okay.
pre-poll.
All right, Dick. Great. We'll pull it. Okay. Approving the minutes from previous city commission meetings, 2025-0807R and 2025-0811 Number 3, a motion to cancel the November 27, 2025 and the December 25, 2025 regular city commission meetings. Resolution 2025-136, a resolution authorizing participation in 8 opioid-related litigation settlements with Alvogen, Inc., Amneal Pharmaceuticals, Inc., Apotex, Inc., Hikma Pharmaceuticals USA, Inc., Indivior, Inc., Mylan Pharmaceuticals, Inc., Sun Pharmaceuticals Industry, Inc., and Zydus Pharmaceuticals USA, Inc., and authorizing the city manager or designee to execute all necessary agreements. Number 5, Resolution 2025-137, a resolution authorizing the city manager or designee to execute the necessary documents to participate in the direct settlement agreement in regard to national prescription opiate litigation, and to vote in favor of the 13th Amendment Joint Chapter 11 Plan of Reorganization for Purdue Pharma LP and its affiliated debtors. Number 6, Resolution 2025-139, a resolution authorizing the city manager or designee to execute an agreement with All City Management Services, Inc., pursuant to RFP number 07-16-25-09 for school crossing guard services. Number 7, Resolution 2025-141 ignore that last dash. A resolution authorizing the reimbursement of certain capital costs from future bond proceeds relating to various capital improvement projects within the city. Commissioner Rydell?
Pull 6,
We're
Mayor.
pulling 6. Thank you very much. So,
I'd move the remainder of consent.
okay, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Commissioner Rydell, seconded by Commissioner Welsh, for items 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7. Thank you. Is there any comments? Thank you. Mr. Kavanaugh, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell,
Yes.
Commissioner Welch,
Yes.
Commissioner Brody,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Yes.
Mayor Raley.
Yes. Is there a motion and a second to approve the remaining consent agenda, item 6?
I'd
We
move
had
it, I'd
discussion.
move it for discussion.
Yes. And a second.
Second.
Thank you. Okay. Now we're open for discussion. Yes, who's making, yes.
Chief Hofer is
Chief
going to make the
Hofer.
presentation.
Good evening. So I have with me Captain Shelton and Sergeant McManus. These are the two that were over the RFP process and in charge of getting this commitment. So I'm going to let them do the speaking on this one.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sergeant McManus was part of the vetting process for this particular company, so if there's any questions you want to pose, we can answer those questions for you as best we can.
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Captain Fred Shelton, Special Operations, Coconut Creek Police Department.
Sergeant Frank McManus, Traffic Unit, Coconut Creek Police Department.
And Frankie, I know there were just some questions related to why this particular vendor was selected. If you could just expand on some of the concerns and with the other vendors and some of the benefits of this vendor. And I know the vendor is also here who might want to just offer a few comments.
Sure. So basically, we based our decision off of five basic characteristics for the company. One being the operational plan, 2 being the qualifications and experience, 3 was the resources that they provide us, 4 is the past performances, and 5 would be the price. And on all 5 of those categories, the company we chose, All City Management Services, outperformed the other 2 by far. One of which is the excuse me, the apps plan that they have, and the business plan that they have that they can provide us. What a geofence that tells us exactly where the crossing guard is, what time they arrive, and what time they leave. The second thing the second big thing was they will have 2 supervisors provided to us, which will reside in our city. So should one of the crossing guards not show up, the supervisor would stand in until a replacement comes in. So that alleviates the not the responsibility, but that alleviates the pressure off of the traffic unit and the police department for manning that area.
Thank you. Are there any? Yes, Commissioner Rydell.
Frankie, the only, I apologize, Sergeant McManus.
That's okay.
The only thing I'll ask is, as part of the online bidding system and RFP process, you vet all the references as well, other cities that engage the company?
Yes, and we have a list of those references as well.
So this is one of those rhetorical ones. And all those references came out glowing, is my understanding, correct?
Yes.
I have nothing further, and I'd like to hear from who signed in to speak.
Sure. Thank you. Anyone else? Any other commissioner? We're good? Yes, Commissioner Welch?
No, the question that I had, you just answered, because I knew they were out of state, so I was concerned about the local contacts, and given that the price point was a bit more than the others as well, I mean, I'm all for paying the guards more because they have a huge responsibility, but you answered that very clearly as to the local contacts, so thank you very much.
If I can just expound on that as well. Just so this company is based out of California, but their office is in Orange County in Orlando. So them having two supervisors here living in the city is a big benefit that we've never had before at any contract that we've had over the last 30 years that I've been here. They've also solely just do school crossing guard employment. And so they have a very good successful rate of attendance for their guards at 99% attendance rate, which is outstanding, and they have 9,000 school crossing guards throughout 22 states throughout the U.S. So they're very reputable. You know, cheaper is not always better in this case, but it was properly vetted by not just Sergeant McManus, but also another officer and our Ruby Reynolds, who is our procurement specialist, and they had glowing recommendations. So I'm sure that Brandon Hendricks, who is the team manager for all city management service, can expound upon other programs they have within their business. But thank you.
Thank you. So you did say that we have a representative from all cities. So since he made the trip, what?
Yes.
Yes, Brandon. Okay. Yes. Would you like to say a few words?
First, I would like to say good evening to you guys.
Good evening.
So, as you know, I am Brandon Hendricks. I am here representing all city management services. And like the officer here said, that's the only service that we provide is crossing guard service. That's why we are so good at what we do. On behalf of all city management services, we'd like to express how excited we are to partner with the city of Coconut Creek. Yes, our company is based out of California. I am here in Florida. I live in Orange County, and in Orange County I have probably 300 or so crossing guards underneath my leadership. Here in South Florida, I have 5 supervisors that support other clients. So for you guys, we'll provide brand new supervisors that's going to take this program. They're going to live right here in you guys' city. Yes, we have a strong track record of successfully managing crossing guard programs over those 22 states and also Florida. And we're expanding each and every week. We recently has partnered with Somerset Portland, which is right down the road there, just this past school year. And also Palm Beach Gardens has added some more territory to us as well. So we're excited about coming in, excited about this opportunity to partner with you guys, and we look forward to crossing kids safely each and every day.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here. Okay.
Do you guys have any
other questions?
further questions for us that we could answer?
Comments? We're good?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Kavanaugh, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell.
Yes.
Commissioner Welch.
Yeah.
Commissioner Brody.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Yes.
Mayor Rayleigh.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Resolution number 8, Resolution 2025-127, a resolution authorizing the city manager or designee to execute an agreement with EES Design Studio to provide fabrication, engineering, and installation services for a Holocaust Remembrance art sculpture to be placed at City Hall. Is there a motion and a second?
Move it. Second.
Thank you. Moved by Vice Mayor Wasserman, seconded by Commissioner Brody.
And
Yes, Bernadette
will be
Hughes,
making-
thank you. Please present.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. For the record, Bernadette Hughes, Government Affairs Manager. The item before you is an agreement with EES Design Studio LLC for the fabrication, engineering, and installation of a Holocaust remembrance sculpture here at City Hall. This is the next step in advancing the Commission's vision to incorporate a piece of Holocaust memorial art here at City Hall. As you will recall, during the fiscal year 2025 budget process, the Commission approved placing a Holocaust memorial here at City Hall. Staff engaged Miller Lake to prepare a conceptual art master plan and for the entire campus, and at the same time, staff began to research staff began outreach to identify potential Holocaust memorial pieces for us to purchase. Several options were presented, and the Commission gave consensus to move forward with a unique design from artist Merritt Meisler. The artist's design, titled Generations, which is in your backup packet, is included in your backup packet. Fabrication costs were initially to be borne by the artists. However, due to rising costs, the cost of steel, tariffs, and just overall global instability, including war in Israel, it became cost prohibitive to fabricate and ship the completed sculpture from overseas. In response, staff worked with the artist on an alternative approach, which I think is a little bit unique. The city would purchase the design rights from the artist and engage a local firm to bring that design to life. After evaluating our options, staff determined the EES Design Studio is uniquely qualified to provide fabrication, engineering, and installation services all under one roof while meeting our very tight deadline to unveil this piece of Holocaust art on January 29th, 2026, which will coincide with the city's 2026 Holocaust Remembrance activities. This work, not to exceed $85,000, will be funded through the city's Public Art Fund. The Public Art Fund is funded by art fees collected from development and redevelopment projects. This fund has a current balance of $656,000, approximately. Moving forward, I will continue to coordinate the city's Holocaust Remembrance activities with staff and with our schools, and Linda Whitman, who's sitting here with me, will be coordinating this agreement with EES Design Studio. We are both here to answer any questions, and additionally, Eric Small, founder and president of EES Design Studio, is here to answer any technical or design questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Bernadette. I know this has been going on for a little bit, and I appreciate your effort in getting this through and coordinating with Israel. I know she's over there, and I know how difficult it is for her, to commit and help us, but for her to put together the plans, it's just such a unique, it's a very unique story. In regard to this memorial that we're producing, and I'm so glad you came as well from ESS to be here. I'm glad you talked about the Public Art Fund, right? There's always a misconception to public, right? That it's our taxpayers' money is going towards this. Why would I want this here? I don't, and it's just so important for us to really educate where certain funds come from for certain things, and I really appreciate you touching up on that. Because, you see, Tap Into comes out with an article that is just honestly it is such a knock on us, honestly, but I'll leave it at that. And it's going to be the first memorial here in Northwest Broward, which I think is so impactful, it's so important, and I appreciate all the work everybody's doing. And I'm just excited to see it come to fruition, and it's going to be maybe you can get the governor to come. Right? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Brody.
Well, now I get to fire back at you, right?
No. That was not a real thing, maybe.
So to be honest with you, when this came up, the first thing that crossed my mind is how much that this day has backed the Veterans Park upgrade, and the respect they showed and allowing the freedom of that to being designed, and really didn't put their fingers in something that was more, in my forte of who I am and what I stand for. So I really appreciate what they did, and I'm going to be honest with you. I took that same stance here. As I said, you know what, I'm going to back them on this special thing. And you know, my biggest problem with society today is that we forget. And if we don't put stuff out there to make people remember, we forget. I was just telling the city manager and city attorney about the 80-year cycle, and that history repeats itself every 80 years. And we're at that 80-year mark, and I don't want this ever to happen again. I think what happened to the Jewish community and what's continuing to happen with the Jewish community is an absolute disgrace. I think that, you know, this is the way to show that we are united with our community, and that, you know, what's being designed here is going to always have everybody's in the forethought of the Jewish community. I do caution that we open doors up to other things. And so we just got to be careful how we go down this path. It's not a slippery slope to other things. We're doing this to remember the 6 million Jewish people who were absolutely murdered in Germany, and that's what it stands for, is that we don't want this to happen again. And so I just want to make sure that we understand that, to me, I don't see this as a religious symbol. I see this as a stance against the disgraceful act that happened. Right. And that we remember it that way, and that anything that comes to this dais in the same manner, understanding that that's what we're doing this for. We're doing this so that we don't see another tragedy in our community or in our country. So I think that our symbolism here is that we don't want to repeat what happened to the Jewish community to anybody else. They should be the example of going down and coming back up, and every stance of what you want to put that in. All right, thank you.
I think it's important, too, at this time, that I do want to say, that it symbolizes all that have perished at that time. And this is just the beginning of our memorials and our tributes. So, and I think it is, and you're right, our residents need to know where this money comes from. It comes from a fund. And could you please embellish a little bit about how those funds are contributed?
Sure. So the Public Art Fund that was established before I got here, but it was established to further the commitment of the City of Coconut Creek to provide public art to beautify the appearance of the city, commemorate the city's history, and to enhance cultural opportunities throughout the city. That's the purpose of the Public Art Fund. Now, money comes from development and redevelopment, and basically there's two ways that businesses that come to the City of Coconut Creek can contribute to the Public Art Fund. They can either provide actual artwork, and so that is basically the artwork that they provide is equal to 50 cents per square foot of estimated gross floor area. The reason why I'm sharing that is because they also have the alternative to actually provide money into the fund, and that's a lesser amount for them. It's 40 cents per square foot. So they can either provide artwork or they can provide money into the fund, and that's where the money comes from.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay, Commissioner Rydell?
It's a telling evening that I'm sitting the closest to a piece of art from September 11th. I don't want to call it. I don't think it's art. I think it's an artifact. Would be the more appropriate word of a piece of the Twin Towers. We are not, as a dais, in any world to judge memorializing tragic events to the significance of race, religion, or culture. We're not. We're here to support our residents. When Commissioner Brody brought the fact that he wanted upgrades in Veterans Park, it's a no-brainer. When Vice Mayor Wasserman talked about a Holocaust memorial after bringing in the cattle car, no-brainer. I too echo, Vice Mayor, your comments that media narratives that the city spends money on something that, as Bernadette very succinctly just said, this is not taxpayer dollars. This isn't money that can be spent that we're taking from taxpayers, and I think people need to be aware of that. But even regardless of that, I think that's a flawed argument as well, because the truth is, race, religion, creed, gender, this city embraces and supports all of it, and we have memorials. We have memorials for what happened at Stoneman Douglas. We have an artifact from September 11th. We're going to have a Holocaust memorial, and that's exactly what it is. And we have very now with Veterans Park honoring. It's not celebrating. It's honoring so many different aspects of the military, and this is a service to our residents. So to me, you know, I get upset when there's something pushed out that makes us look like we're doing something with money that I think everyone on this dais takes the dollar that we spend beyond seriously and significantly. So listen, I look forward to it. I appreciate the vendor being here. I've never heard of such a thing. I think it's very odd and super cool that there's a sculptor in Israel that did an event that we're able to mimic, and that actually shows real commitment to monetary obligations when there's enough money in the fund that we could have had it built in Israel and shipped here. But that's not, like, the commitment is real. So listen, I know everyone on this commission comes from a very different walk of life, very different religious backgrounds, very different cultural backgrounds, but we are missing the mark as elected officials if we don't celebrate everybody. And we're doing that, and I look forward to the unveiling. I truly do. That's all I have, and I just, it's really on tonight. It's also crazy that we're talking about this tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
On a day where we have something that a lot of people don't. We're talking about remembering. We're talking about never forgetting. And John, you said something that hit me about never forgetting, because when you talk to any of the Parkland parents, that is the only thing that they talk about. And that, whether it's military service, whether it's the Holocaust, whatever the subject matter is, you can never forget. So you got me on that one, Commissioner Brody. So it's the truth, because you can never forget. And as always, thank you for your service. And Commissioner Vice Mayor Wasserman, thank you for bringing this to the city's attention. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Welch.
Thank you, Mayor. No, it is a very solemn day for any number of reasons for remembering, and to Commissioner Rydell's point, say their name. And that's what I try to always bring into the veterans, the memorial, is to say their name, because we can't forget, regardless of why they sacrificed or what the circumstances were, is to continue. The Memorial Garden has individuals that we're memorializing in the way of the virtual bench, which I thought was extremely creative. You solved that issue in no time flat. And the collaboration for the design and the construction of the piece to be brought out here that was made by the artist in Israel is a real collaboration. And I do, too, look forward to continuing the process for the Memorial Garden in other ways, for other reasons, but especially support this tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. And the process, that's what you call creativity. The alternative process that was developed for this piece, that's real creativity. Thank you for whoever thought of this or brought it to light. So thank you. Mr. Kavanaugh, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Rydell.
Yes.
Commissioner Welch.
Yes.
Commissioner Brody.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Yes.
Mayor Raley.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bernadette. Okay. Number 9, Ordinance 2025-033. It's the first reading. City Attorney Pyburn, please.
Thank you, Mayor Raley. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Coconut Creek, Florida, amending the city's Code of Ordinances by amending Chapter 15, Parks and Recreation, Article 2, Rules and Regulations, Section 15-21, Definitions, to add definitions of electric bike, motorized mobility device, and motorized scooter, amending Section 15-25, Vehicles, subsection 15-25B, Operation, to prohibit the use of electric bicycles, motorized mobility devices, and motorized scooters in city-owned parks except on park roads and in designated parking areas for parking purposes only. Amending Section 15-37, Violations and Penalties, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing an effective date.
Move it.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Thank you. Moved by Commissioner Welch, seconded by Commissioner Brody.
Just to give an overview, I'm making the presentation.
Thank you.
This ordinance, excuse me, comes on the heels of some of our neighboring cities passing somewhat similar ordinances regulating e-bikes. The unregulated use of electric bicycles, motorized mobility devices, and motorized scooters on sidewalks, bike paths, greenways, or trails within city-owned parks can create significant public health and safety risks due to the use of city parks by families, children, and sports organizations and the higher speeds associated with electric bicycles. A number of recent studies across the U.S. have found that over the last couple of years, there has been an exponential increase in the amount of injuries, accidents, excuse me, and fatalities relating to the use of electric bicycles and motorized scooters. This ordinance amends the city's code to provide for a prohibition on the use of electric bicycles, motorized mobility devices, and motorized scooters on sidewalks, bike paths, greenways, and trails located within city-owned parks to address safety concerns. Under this ordinance as drafted, violators will first be warned and then trespassed from city-owned parks for riding electric bicycles on the sidewalks located therein.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Welch.
Yes, thank you very much. I really appreciate legal and et al. Drafting this ordinance. When I brought it up, it was to align our efforts in the use of electric mobility devices in our park sidewalks. And I did have occasion to speak to our neighboring city that has had this ordinance in place for about 6 months. And of course, theirs is written much differently because their code is much different than ours. And, but even that, they've only issued in the last 6 months 3 citations to the tune of $200 each citation. Because their captain told me that due to the education process that they went through for the 30 days preceding it being implemented, A-frames at all of the, I'm not telling our Parks and Rec and police how to do it, I wanted to talk about how the neighboring city had done it and had some success in their education. A-frames at the entrances of every park in their city, as well as social media blasts, which I know we're better than any other city. But so the education alone prompted very few, and when they did come upon riders in whatever mobility device they were on and let them know that they were not to be on the sidewalks with those devices, they needed to either be on the road or then take their bike to wherever they were going to park it in the park. That most often, that awareness made it, they complied. So I think that the looseness that we have written this here, even though we took out the word warning, it's that unwritten discretionary piece that our officers do so well in assessing every situation that they come upon like this that is not life-threatening, but could be if it were the behavior were continued in our parks at some of the rate of speeds that these mobility devices can do. That I think that we've given a very good leeway to users. The one thing that I was not very clear about, and I asked our city attorney to go into more clarity for me, because I thought at first reading, the way it read was that if an offender were warned and then came back and repeated, that they were going to be banned from all parks for up to a year. But City Attorney, can you go into a little bit more of elaboration about that?
Yes.
Because that seems excessive, because the parks are for everyone, but mostly for our youth, so that they have good, constructive activities to do and be able to participate in.
Understood. Under Section 1537, violations and penalties, the added language pertaining to e-bikes basically provides that any person who violates the prohibition on riding the e-bikes, the motorized mobility devices, or motorized scooters on the sidewalks, bike paths, trails within the park would be trespassed from the park in which they committed the violation for a year. So hypothetically speaking, if it was Windmill Park, then they would be trespassed from Windmill Park for a year, but they could still go to all the other city parks.
As it's stated here, there really isn't a limit of those unwritten discretionary warnings, right?
So under state law, before trespassing somebody, we have to warn them first. It will be up to the officer issuing the trespass to determine if they have failed to follow, failed to comply with their warning.
Is it possible, if I can ask, I don't know, either Parks and Rec or the chief, how they feel those number of occurrences are today?
Good evening. So the question was, how do we deal with trespass warnings?
These types of occurrences today, are there?
Well, we don't, because there's no ordinance for it. However, we do have several policies when trespass warnings are involved. Our policies generally dictate up to a year trespass warning, not to exceed that. Does that answer your question, or are you looking for something about e-bikes?
Mobility devices.
We haven't. And to be honest, since the one issue that we do know about, the one
Yes.
in Sable Pines, aside from that, it hasn't presented itself to be a problem for us.
It hasn't been made, you haven't been made aware of them. Doesn't mean that they aren't occurring. It just means that
Well,
in that instance, it was definitely made
I knew this was
aware.
coming, and I did get with my traffic sergeant, and I asked him, I said, have you noticed a problem with the e-bikes in city property and city parks? And he said no, in terms of enforcement and causing problems.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Rydell.
Thank you, Mayor. This is legislating to legislate. This is exactly what this is. I don't support this in any capacity. I support safety. I support kids being safe, and I support it doing this in a way that does not read how it does. So if you want to talk about helping safe kids and things of that nature, all for it. What we have before us tonight is the farthest thing from that. All of you focus on the word shall. Shall means must, and must means you must trespass, you must cite, you must do these things. That's must. And if you don't do it, you're not following the rule we set up. I have a total problem with this. Now, Parkland did it. Talk about the city. Parkland did it because they had mass kids going at PREC, ruining fields, creating unsafe environments. We don't have that. I've seen no documentation, and I ran the last year of PDFs in terms of the police reports, searching them. We had one incident on record that was provided to this commission, and we're legislating something because of one incident. That's not governance, okay? And I'll give you the other thing that I have a problem with in here. Greenways, e-bikes and scooters, both things that I own and have in my house that I use. You can use a bike, be on a greenway, be going over 10 miles an hour, not using your motorized capacity, and guess what? The police have probable cause to pull you over and detain you. I got a problem with that. I don't have a problem with understanding with minors and safety. I'm all for safety, reckless kids. You want to create this in a way that solves the issue. And I don't know where this came from, candidly, because I don't know who.
I did.
You did?
Yes.
Thank you.
I did.
Okay, I get it. And I get neighboring cities have had different issues with it, but I read this. I talked in my agenda review. I was like, I don't support this in the city because I don't think it's a problem. And if we're trying to focus it to kids and e-bike safety, also some of these e-bikes that were a problem in Parkland, these are $2,000 devices. $2,000 devices. I drive the city every day and I don't see these problems, right? So, let me point blank, Fred. If we had aside from the one incident where there was an injury, right? The apparition. Do we have any documented that you're aware of incident that there's some mass problem?
No.
Madam City Manager, may I inquire upon our Director of Parks and Rec?
Certainly.
And I don't even know the answer, but it hasn't been in my report, and if it hasn't been reported, I'm very curious about it. I always feel bad putting you guys on the spot, so I apologize. Wayne, has there been any issue that you're aware of damage to city fields due to electronic device usage?
Not damage, but within the parks, we have problems with kids driving their scooters on the walkways, almost hitting some of the residents. So I feel that this would help us in Parks and Rec to let these kids know that they can do that.
Now, that's a different issue. A different issue is saying if you want to say there's no electronic devices allowed in city parks, that's a different ordinance. That's not an ordinance saying that somebody that has an electronic bike or an electronic scooter can't use a greenway to go from Johnson and 441 up to Hillsborough and Lyons, because there's a greenway all over North Creek, and this encompasses that.
I thought it encompassed the greenways within the parks.
This reads, Madam City Attorney, this is greenways in the city, fair?
It does say within city-owned parks.
So
City-owned parks. City-owned parks.
No person shall operate an electronic bicycle, motorized mobility device, or motorized scooter on any sidewalk, bike path, greenway, or trails within city parks. The greenways are considered park for the purposes of zoning. So if I'm wrong, correct me, but we have greenways which are part of our parks master plan. True or false? Okay, so greenways. So I couldn't take a scooter as an adult. Call it what it is. I can't take a scooter as an adult that is either manual or electric using a greenway near my house.
I would take the greenways out.
I think this whole thing needs to be reworked. Candidly, I don't support it as is. I fully support Wayne trying to figure out a way to creatively figure out how we deal with kids, how we deal with parks, because that's a safety issue. Having a 12-year-old kid going 30 miles an hour on an e-bike is 1,000% an issue, but punishing an adult and then giving an adult probable cause to get stopped by the cops and searched, I got an issue with that. So fully supportive of figuring out a creative way. This is 1,000% not the vehicle. And here's the other thing. We put a 10-mile-per-hour limit on it in city parks on the right things. Bicycles. I could be driving my bicycle. I ride my bike. I go about 15, 16 miles per hour on a bike. Man, I look like I ride a bike, but I do. Okay? We don't judge. So if we want to focus this in a creative way, whether an education effort on children, legislating when there's not, we shouldn't be legislating. I know someone's here to speak. I'm very curious to what they have to say, but I think there's a solution because there is a potential problem for safety. Public safety, I'm all in for. The vehicle we're using tonight is not it. I'll defer, Mayor, and I'd like to have additional comment, but I see the gentleman, I see Mr. Hendricks here. I know Mr. Hendricks.
Did you want me to?
I don't have the authority to say that, Mr. Hendricks. I'll defer to the mayor, and Mayor, I'd like to reserve comment at the end.
Okay, thank you. We'll hear from the commissioners first, and then Mr. Hendricks, you can come up. Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Brody.
So I'm a little column A and a little column B here. I certainly see a need to regulate because I've sat at these concerts in the park and watched these kids rip across those fields, grass flying up, they're out of control, 12, 13-year-old kids. So I have witnessed this over and over and over, which is why when I saw this, I went, okay, I get it. So I'm a little bit on Commissioner Welch's side saying, yeah, something needs to be done. But I also understand where Commissioner Rydell's coming from. I think we kind of need to make sure we understand what we're actually trying to target here. We're trying to target the uncontrollable riders that don't know safety, don't think they're going to live forever. We've all been there. But I think we need to target and massage this a little bit into what we're really trying to target stopping. We're not trying to stop adults from enjoying the parks. We're trying to stop the erratic behavior of people under 18 who don't understand what they're doing with those machines. And trust me, I'm 55, and I still don't understand what I do with machines. So I understand how both of these things make sense, and I kind of think this needs to be massaged out a little bit too, to kind of make sure we have the right target on this. But I've certainly witnessed it. I certainly think that there's a need for it, but I certainly believe that it needs to be a little bit more massaged out, and that's kind of where I stand. I'm a little bit for tabling this until we can massage it a little bit more. But I would really like to hear from my colleagues before any kind of motion's made, and certainly I want to hear from Mr. Hendricks too.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Thank you, Mayor. Can we just, let's play the record till it ends. If we can get somebody up here, maybe Fred. So let's talk about when a student or kid is riding the bike. Talk me through how it's going to go, what's going to happen, right? So boom, kids ride an e-bike. Under this, as it reads, what's going to happen?
Okay, so under this, they would be issued trespass warning, and from that park. But Commissioner Rydell did mention something. Kid doing 30 miles an hour on an e-bike, that would indicate a different level of. There's different sizes of e-bikes, so some of them do require driver's licenses. So if the ones that go over, I believe it's 50 cc's, we would deal with it as a regular traffic citation. Yeah, but it would be just a trespass warning from the park.
Okay.
Yeah. Or not, if we have,
under this.
If the ordinance says shall, then we will be issuing, yes, under that.
Okay, so trespass warning.
Yes.
2 weeks later, kid's back. It totally ignores it. What's the next step?
After they're already warned, that comes to arrest.
So they'll be arrested. And they'll be
juvenile transcript.
Okay. Let's say it's an adult doing it. Is the same process for the adults?
Yes.
Trespass warning, then an arrest.
Correct.
Okay. That's extreme to me, right? Regardless of the greenways and whatever else, that's extreme. I would agree with the rest of the commission, or Commissioner Brody and Commissioner Rydell to reorganize this and resituate it to kind of maybe do the greenways, but I don't agree with those punishments. Maybe if it's the dais does, I don't know. But I do find it to be a little extreme. I do think people are allowed to, use certain devices, obviously responsibly, of course, and somebody could ride a bicycle more than 10 miles per hour. I mean, I think Josh does it regularly, so I wouldn't want anything, Oh, I thought it was regularly. All right. But no, I would like to revisit. I agree with that. What would another punishment be, though? What would be another consequence if we didn't do a trespass?
Confiscation.
What's up, John?
No, I want to wait my turn.
Oh, okay. You could have spoke. You could. I'll pretend like I'm talking and you speak.
So what Parkland did is they issued tickets. The problem with that is that if somebody appeals, they have a process where it's appealed to court. Our code is not set up that way. That would take a deeper discussion if that's what you wanted to do. Otherwise, certainly we can post the parks, put signs out, make it part of our park rules that you can't ride bikes, electric bikes on the sidewalks or greenways or, that kind of a thing, and just educate it without a more specific regulation. But it's all up to your pleasure and what you would like to do.
Okay, thank you. I'll take it to the mayor.
Thank you. And then I'll go to Commissioner Welsh after. I do have a few things I picked up from this conversation. Our parks are for the enjoyment, the outdoor enjoyment of our residents. Yes, do some of our facilities get abused? Absolutely, no question. And I think that's what we have to target. We're actually throwing away the baby with the bathwater. So if someone is trespassed from one park, that's a first offense. Now they go to another park where they're still not allowed, and they get trespassed from that. Is that another offense for that park? Is it multiple offenses? I mean, this could snowball into, our jails could be filled with these kids that are trespassed or adults. So
to answer your question,
yes.
They're separate. So if you go to Windmill Park and you get trespassed, if you come back to Windmill Park, you get arrested, yes. That's
another park.
But if you go to Windmill Park, you get warned, and then you go to the north end of the city, you go to a different park, it's a separate warning.
It's a separate
warning from that specific park.
It's a separate warning, so they could go to multiple parks and get warnings.
And get trespassed from all of them,
Okay. So yes, so that has to be addressed. I think this whole ordinance needs to be revamped. I think what we have to target is the age and the responsibility of the person and if we can, it's discrimination. Okay, I get that. So we do have to put up signs. But I do see, if I'm riding a bike, to be honest with you, I wouldn't want to be out on I wouldn't want to be on the street riding a bike. I'd go to a park and ride a bike, even if it's an e-bike. So again, we just have to appeal to the responsibility of the adult or the adult in charge of the child that is ripping up our parkways. Safety is paramount. We know that. That goes without saying. But I think we have to revamp this entire ordinance. Thank you. Commissioner Welsh, did you want to address us again? No, well, Mr. Hendricks, you're up.
Good evening. Hello, John Hendricks, 4440 Northwest 4th Street, South Creek. I'll share with the commission my incident, and maybe this will help. 10 feet from the back entrance of the community center, Lions of Coconut Creek, to attend a South Creek concerned citizens meeting. I get passed at a high rate of speed, not an arm's length, shorter than an arm's length, an elbow's length, by an adolescent female on an electrified scooter. And it upset me, and I went to the counter and said, how often are these scooter kids here? Because I almost got creamed. And he says, oh, where do you expect them to go? And it hit me wrong, which brought me here. I'll share with you, I've got metal hips, metal knees, and I started to ponder, if this little girl had hit me, and she did come from the back, she would have spread me across the concrete. So here I am. Just to give you an example, an incident. And I don't heal nearly as well as I used to. So I leave it to you to sort this out. Thanks.
Thank you, John. Okay. Any other comments? Yes, Commissioner Welsh.
I did have problems with the way the ordinance is written, and that's why I reached out to Parkland to see how their education piece worked before they ever went to any means of enforcement. And it seemed like that the education piece was an overly successful. I do agree with Commissioner Rydell that in the respect of the, this is a big day.
Big day.
Do you want to, on your good hand, this is that the trails, because I didn't think they would be included, I was surprised that they were, should not, because more than often that's families that are on there. They're not individual unsupervised children or students that are using them. The reason that I brought this up to begin with was for the sidewalks in the parks. Because most of our sidewalks, other than those greenways, are narrow. They're not wide, so they don't accommodate a lot of people, whether you are on a mobility device or walking or in your however your means of transportation is. So that was where this came from, that and the near incident, and knowing the speed that some of these electric mobility devices can go, I thought that it was important that we be proactive. And I've seen some incidents, not enough to say that I reported anything, and I'm sure not going to try to chase anybody down, but I do still feel the need for safety in our parks, specifically on the sidewalks. Doesn't mean that people with of all ages with their electric devices can't go on the roads because in the parks, because they certainly would still be able to do that. It's the sidewalks that I think is the focus of the higher occurrence of a possibility of a danger or an injury. So I'm going to leave it at that, but I look forward to some very robust changes that can incorporate some of the things that have been discussed here today.
Thank you. Commissioner Rydell.
So, first of all, John, thank you for coming. And I think you're the definition of what we want to protect. at the end of the day. I hope your son's well. Say hello, please. All right. Here's what I think everyone's right, and I think we want to protect it. But here's what I think also needs protecting: the fact that I think we've all been tagged on Facebook on the Coconut Creek Residents Forum of the bike clubs and the bike gangs, and I mock it. But the groups of 13, 14-year-old kids that are doing this in Winston Park or they're doing this in South Creek, that we can't curb that. But I do believe there's a creative way. If you're telling me at Windmill Park, which is a great example, at Windmill Park around the community center, you want to say there's not allowed to use an e-bike on the facility. That's something that I believe. Unless you want to come in, you want to park it, that makes sense. So I think there's a creative way to do it. I'm happy to engage in the process. I hate shalls. Because I think shalls is the unintended consequence. When you tell a police officer, like Fred, you shall do this, you're mandating an end result. So I think, Sandy, you're correct with your reiteration of saying whether it's a warning-based system or whatever it is. I think safety is paramount, and I'm a responsible owner. Both my daughters have electric scooters. They are responsible, but I can't control everybody else. And what the unintended consequence I don't want is the adult that has an e-bike, that whether our former IT director, I would see Eric routinely in parks birding on an electric bike, whether pedaling or using it. He did it all the time, all over the city. You guys all know that. He did. All over the city. But
currently our IT director.
I thought he retired. He was retiring?
Not yet, no.
You didn't retire?
Not yet.
Did I just announce a retirement? No.
You know something we don't?
I don't know anything.
Let's stick to the e-bikes.
Whatever it was, I apologize for, I could be wrong with that, but I'd see Eric, he's a birder. He'd drive around safely. We can't punish adults, but we have to protect our residents from youth that are doing something. So I think Commissioner Brody had a very salient idea if he was engaged to make such a motion.
You know, I do like that idea, Commissioner, about the rec center and the community center, that they're banned from usage. It can be parked, but cannot ride them around those areas. Anywhere where there is a high level of pedestrian traffic or gatherings.
Can I make a suggestion that in the interim, while we're considering this item, that we look at the park rules? We have full authority to develop park rules in specific locations to address the specific concerns. I can visualize the sidewalk where the near accident or where the accident happened, and some areas that we could amend our park rules.
Park rules aren't criminal, so I support that.
One last comment.
Commissioner Brody.
I don't want us to lose track of the fields, because what ends up happening is we do a concert in the park, or the
totally right.
So those have to be included, because I've watched them rip across that soccer field towards a food truck. So I don't want to lose track of that either, because I think once we start, we say we're not in the sidewalk, but now they're going to be in the grass. I think we need to find it a little bit better, is that the sidewalks in the green areas of the fields, which means baseball, softball, soccer, football, all those fields, so they're not riding across fields or doing donuts.
And John, I don't think there's ever a reason that there should be any electronic motorized device on any field
in the city.
I get to drop a little history to you, Commissioner Rydell. This is unusual, but I get to drop some history. Hosford Field. Anybody that's been here long enough knew about the guys on the go-karts, the guys on the motorcycles, the guys with three-wheelers and the quads that tore up Hosford Field almost every single softball season. And thank you, because you make me feel younger when you say things like that, because it was 15 years ago. But, these things, they do it. And so if we make sure that we encompass the fields, I think that's an important piece of this too. And I am ready to make a motion that we table this.
John, real quick, I just want to say this.
I signed up to speak.
Oh, I just wanted to say, Fred, it's ATV. I just want to say this because it's important. So for the purpose of the discussion, Fred, if someone comes and tears up a field, that's arrestable.
That's criminal mischief.
Thank you.
That's
all I was trying to get.
I think if we empower our employees to supervise and to say that there aren't any vehicles should be on our grass or on our fields. Okay? Thanks.
And
yes,
sidewalks.
Commissioner Welsh.
So I'm fully in support of making the motion, not to usurp that, but I don't want to make an usurpation. That was a new word I learned from Terrell in our agenda review. But I would like, she'll let you know. Okay. Just ask her. I would like to know if this will come back to us, because I wouldn't want to let it go if it didn't completely encompass what we've discussed here tonight.
Well, if we table it with a time certain for our city manager to give us a report of where we're at, say October, first meeting in October, gives them a month to work on it. A report of what they're going to do either way.
A report?
A report, yeah.
I'd give consensus for that.
I'll give consensus as well.
Thank
I
you.
made the motion. I got to do it again?
I'm a second.
Well, we need a second
All
for
right,
the
motion to table for 1 month and have a report from the city manager at that time.
Second.
Great, okay. Thank you. All right.
Sorry, you still need to call the roll on
Do
the
we
vote.
need on a table? Okay, then. Mr. Kavanaugh, please call the roll.
Commissioner Rydell.
Yes. Yes to table.
Commissioner Welch.
Yes to table.
Commissioner Brody.
Yes to my table.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Yes to John's table.
Oh, I was going to say.
Mayor Raley.
Yes to table. Thank you. All right, thank you. City Manager, please give us your report.
Thank you, Mayor. It's been a busy week. A couple of pieces of information. We understand that the development team has a small delay in their closing. We now understand it to be October 17th. Yeah, for the Main Street. Yeah. So it's no longer on my birthday. It's on John's birthday. It's also my daughter's birthday, so it's going to,
Okay, happy birthday to everybody. Can we move on?
On September 22nd, we're having a meeting of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board to go over the ongoing work of our consultant related to the consolidation of Park and Rec policies and operating procedures, and we expect to bring that to you in a workshop on November 13th. So we're making good progress in that area, but Maureen probably reached out to you to ask that you hold that date. It is the regular commission meeting. We'll do the right thing at 5:30. And I can't decide if you're raising your hand. Oh, okay. Sorry. I know there have been concerns. It's a Thursday evening, November 13th.
Yes. Yes.
I was going to bring this up during my comments. Madam Rose, I actually don't think that should be a hold date, and I'll tell you why. I believe that every one of us should have an independent meeting with the consultant prior to any workshop being held, with all of us meeting in regarding Parks and Rec. So I candidly, based on some of the issues that have gone on, and I'm not saying good or bad, but just there's emails, there's things, there's positions I have in regarding programming and things like that. We should not in any way have a hold date that soon when I believe all of us have input that we deserve as a commission, if we're paying a consultant, to have independent meetings with the consultant, to have our philosophies and thoughts explained prior to a workshop.
I agree.
Okay, no worries with that. We're working with a consultant. They've done a great deal of data collection, and I think that'd be a productive way. He suggested either or, so I was just working on saving the date. So
but I think that should happen as well. There should be a workshop, but it should only be after there's independent meetings.
Correct. Okay, we'll do that. And just to let you know, we were having issues with erosion down on the Gray Star site. They did start with some soil stabilization today, which we hope will eliminate that concern. And I think, are you going to talk about the OIG thing? No. Okay. Nothing else to report.
City Attorney, Ms. Pyburn.
Thank you. Good evening. I sent you all an OIG report that talks about an investigation that they completed pertaining to some cities within the county that attended the Broward County Mayor's Gala and failed to report the free tickets that they got as gifts. Again, just a gentle reminder that even if it is a gift from your own city, if you get free tickets from us because maybe we we sponsored a table or something, you still have to report that if you're reporting individual, which all of you are. if the value is worth more than $100. And if you're ever in doubt, please let us know. And we're happy to look into that for you and help you out. Additionally, I did want to point out that along those lines, my office is going to be doing an ethics training in Sunshine and public records, and we'll try to provide you with your 2 hours of interactive training that you're required to have. We're looking at dates probably near the end of October.
Weekend and
so we'll be in
evenings?
touch with you by Monday. I'm sorry?
Weekends and evenings?
We're definitely looking at evenings. I'm not positive about weekends, but you know, we'll try to accommodate your needs. If for some reason, you know, we normally try to tack these things onto commission meeting nights, but it may have to be a separate night just to make sure that we're able to meet your needs. I understand, you know, it's difficult to get here sometimes early enough to do 2 hours before the meeting. So we'll work with you, and we're going to set that up, and just wanted to let you know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Commissioner Rydell.
Since it's an early night and the kickoff hasn't happened yet, I'll be as brief as I can. It happened. With the Solid Waste Authority, just an update. I know some of you saw who I was sitting with earlier before the meeting, Rita Vester, who runs the sustainability program at North Broward Prep. The Solid Waste Authority has deemed North Broward Prep essentially the marquee school for Broward County sustainability efforts under the Solid Waste Authority, from the purpose of composting, recycling, and sustainability on campus. Next week, there's, I want to say, almost 40 people associated with the Solid Waste Authority doing a tour. School Beverage Board Mara and a number of other individuals from some of the other schools. So super exciting on that front. That's the good. Let's go to the bad. The executive board meeting is the most recent executive board meeting. This past week at the Solid Waste Authority, we've made the decision as executive board to fast track the fiscal component and get essentially the RFPs out on the street sooner rather than later to see what the fiscal impact is going to be if the authority formally passes on what the city obligations are going to be. So to give you a long and short of it, Madam Rose with Mike Heimbeck sent an email out essentially saying if the Solid Waste Authority master plan passes right now, there's a separation element for yard waste. Right? So there's a yard waste component that the city would be obligated for that would be a resource that we can use. If that happens, a cost to the city, which isn't considering the cost that we're buying into solid waste, is going to be an additional hauler agreement on our end to pick up the yard waste. So there's a lot of unintended consequences with the Solid Waste Authority with their current master plan. The executive board this week accepted the master plan. We didn't approve it. We accepted the master plan for the purposes of additional changes. The first meeting of the governing board, which you're all welcome to come to, is next week. And Sheila sent invitations to all of you. It's a Zoom number, and I'll make sure, please, Madam Rose, make sure Commissioner Welch gets it, and that's going to be presented to all the cities. The reason the executive board chose to put, I don't want to say the cart before the horse, to put the fast tracking of the RFPs for purposes of solicitation and cost, I think that's the do or die moment. I've tried to keep you all apprised. I think Sandy has kept you all apprised prior to me about where this is at. There's a lot of cities that have no idea what's going on, and they're going to get a bill handed to them saying, here's what your annual input's going to be a member of the Solid Waste Authority. That's problematic and it's flawed. So we're trying to get the cost, educate prior to an approval. I will keep you all informed. I can't imagine what some of these RFPs are, and just so you're also aware, the Alpha 250 site, they don't, there's a very negative component of that. But that's not finalized. I have assurances that can be worked out. I just want to give you the update. Again, I'll give, as I do every meeting, that's probably the only thing I'll give an update on, but I think you're going to see true buy-in, regardless if this is the plan we want or not. When I come and report to all of you, this is what it's going to cost us. Now, certain cities, and here's the other thing, it's an election year. So when this is going to be voted on is going to be 4 months before a primary election in 2026. There's a consideration there as well. So there's a long-term cost there's a short-term significant cost with a long-term savings and gain. So I know we're much different in that because we put ourselves with sustainability efforts first, but stay tuned. I welcome you all to jump on. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have right now about the Solid Waste Authority. Otherwise, that's my only report.
When you say long-term gain, what are we talking? Are we talking?
It's like everyone's better together.
Whose lifetime?
Meaning that in, candidly, probably no one in this commission, none of us will be here, Honestly, I don't mean to say it like that, but none of us are going to be here when there is true regional assets that have the waste stream able to be diverted to certain components at a much better cost savings. And the problem is you're going to have certain cities that are short-sighted that are saying, I don't want to increase what we're paying now because that's me approving a tax increase. So that's the issue. So I don't believe you're going to see true cost savings 10 to 15 years from now on a 40-year master plan because everyone's failed us. That's the reality. And there's some ridiculous commentary about the county's position now. I don't want to get into all that because I didn't plan on doing that today, but the county's position now is so contrary to everything they did in terms of approving what they approved and allowing what they allowed. So you bite your tongue of hearing what the county's position now is moving the solid waste plan forward with. It's a little bit laughable, but I'm not so short-sighted enough to come here and say let's opt out, regardless of my feelings, because this is the greater good and this is our kids and our grandkids in 40 years. So that's what I mean, Mayor, and I mean we're going to be paying for it for 10 years before we see any benefit.
Thank you.
Commissioner
Welsh.
Thank you. I wasn't going to ask, but now I am. I was just going to comment on something else. What about the sludge dryer? I didn't, yes, the Alpha 250. Was that discussed? Because I couldn't.
The actual item of what is going on Alpha 250, I referenced as having a problem. I've talked to the executive director, and it's not officially part of the approved master plan, so it's up for change.
That's a part of us. We're a part of that.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
It's very important when and if we get some notification about 1.2 miles from the landfill.
I think the bigger issue right now is, I'm agreeing with you on that. I think I have serious doubts in terms of once the RFPs and the solicitations come back to the total cost of what this looks like. In terms of, I'm being honest, in terms of the viability of not us, of other cities' commitments to move forward, because I don't see Mike or Harry here, but there's already staff of some of the largest cities that if they were to choose not to move forward on a population level of what's mandated, could burn the whole thing down. And I think the industry kind of wants it. I'm not saying good, bad, or indifferent, but I think the industry, when I say the industry, the private industry of the waste stream benefits if there's no solid waste authority, because it's a capitalistic market. And even more so, Hollywood brokered some of the most forward-thinking agreements in their most recent thing. So the answer is the actual item hasn't been dealt with. It will be, but what I believe before we go to war on that front, we look at what the solicitation is and what the cost is.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. No, I went to a number of things, but I think today is about just memorializing the day and the reason and the recent events. I received, and I can't pull it up right now, from one of our residents that brought forward the week of music for peace. An article that he had written, and he said he can't stay silent anymore, and it was just all about we really need to just hone ourselves in individually. I think the mayor mentioned it earlier, and just one by one capture some form of peace and pass it on, because everything is so out of control. Today was just not a good day for multiple reasons. So anyway, say their names. Thank you.
Commissioner Brody.
Yeah, just two quick things. One was, as we do with 9/11, we had a pretty decent turnout for the 9/11 Stairmaster Challenge. I want to thank the fire and PD for participating in doing that. They always do a good job showing up and getting that done. I couldn't make it today. New job, no time off. So I kind of wish I was there. I wouldn't have done the stairs because I got no knees, but I would have been there, yelling at people. The biggest thing that I've done, I think, in the last couple of weeks has been our 9/17 Constitution Day. That's coming up next week, ironically, when they do the Stars and Stripes over at North Broward Prep. This year, the organization handed out 35,000 pocket constitutions to 186 public, private, and home schools. And I was able to kind of squeeze out a little bit to go over and give to JA Achievement, so they can start handing those out to the fifth graders, so we can start making sure everybody coming up understands the Constitution. So it was a tremendous success here in Broward County. I think we're leading the way in the entire country. I don't think there's another county in this side of the Mississippi that's given out that many in one county. So kudos to the school board for allowing us to do that. They really got behind this. Kudos for everybody that volunteered, because that's a lot of schools. And we had guys that were triple volunteering, tripping all over everybody else to try to give these out. So it's kind of a great turnout as far as the volunteer group. Thanks for getting me in the door at North Broward. I was a little slow getting in there this year. Definitely, it was a great turnout, and I think it's a great thing for America when our youth can pick up a pocket constitution and understand what their rights are in this country. And I tell everybody, I've been all over the world. There is nothing like our document of the Constitution, not in its entirety. You might get bits and pieces, and you might see some things that might be a little bit better in one category or another, but that complete document, there is nothing like it in the world. And I give examples every year. If you make a comment in Facebook in England about the king or queen, you're going to jail. They're coming to your house, all right? If you own a gun in Australia and it's not registered smooth bore, which means a shotgun, you're going to jail. So there are things that our Constitution protects us as citizens to be able to fight tyranny and be able to have a freedom of speech and a freedom of religion and a freedom of press and a freedom to assemble. These things are important. When I gave the classes teaching kids about why these things happened and when they happened and how we came up with these amendments, is satisfying like no one else can ever imagine. Being able to explain why, we went through, well, I won't get into detail. I'm going to bore everybody. But once I get going, I can't stop on a Constitution. But it's really a pleasure for me to be able to do this and an honor to give these out to these kids. And hopefully we build a better America, one pocket Constitution at a time.
Vice Mayor Wasserman.
Thank you, Mayor. And I will say to Commissioner Brody, when I was a civics teacher for 5 years, every year they would get a pocket constitution at the end, right before their, I would sign it and give them a message before they took their civics test. So I understand how important it is, and I appreciate all you've done. Yes. I wanted to hear from Fred as to the auction. How did we do with the Do the Right Thing auction? The funding that was collected, was it on par? Was it below? Was it above what you're used to? Thank you.
I'm a busy guy tonight. Probably the best we've ever had. It was over $10,000 raised, and profit from that was $7,600, I believe.
Okay, cool.
More than the last 2 years.
That's
It
more
was
than
outstanding.
It's the most we've ever had.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Very cool.
So thank you to everybody for everything.
Thank you for the information. I appreciate it. And then I guess in terms of, I know some people have reached out in regards to the Gray Star project, and I appreciate Sheila, you addressing the erosion. When we have a development like this going on, what is the oversight that we as a city have in that process? Are we there regularly? Like, how does that work? I just want to be educated.
So based on the status of the various permits, we have ongoing inspections. And because it's a big job site, we're out there daily. When they're doing earthwork and underground utility work, engineering, John Thomas has been out there. They're out there when they get called for an inspection, but they also do sort of progress work with a developer of this size. So they are out there all the time.
Are they out there when they are called by the developer, or are they just showing up unannounced?
Both.
Okay.
Right. They're not out there, in a project of this size, they're not out there all day, but they are out and about.
Like we're checking on like site plan and this and that and this and that and whatever, blah, 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 right? Because there seems to be an understanding. I received an email. There seems to be an understanding that the city doesn't know what's going on there, right? And I know that's not true. And I stick up for us. Trust me, I do. So I just wanted to have on the record the things we're doing. What are we? That we're active. We're a part of the process. This isn't just say, hey, build your stuff and we'll see you in 7 months, right?
No. In fact, yesterday I was out there looking at the turbidity issues in the canal, and I did notice our landscape inspector, because they were still doing some tree clearing. So depending on the discipline, there are people out on the job site off and on all day.
And some of the trees that were to be saved, right, or to be put to this, can you talk about that process?
So there was an extensive tree preservation plan. I think there has been ongoing work where both Sharon Vollmer and Mark have been out on the job site. There's been some modification to it, but it's all been, collaborative.
Where do the trees go when they're pulled out and then they're waiting to be replaced? Like, how does that work?
I don't know specifically. I know some of them, the goal was to move the larger trees to the north perimeter,
Okay.
but they're all over the place. So if there's specific trees.
So my one
we can
question
walk
is,
through it.
is there a tree accountability system?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll leave it at that.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the horrific act that happened yesterday to a 31-year-old on a college campus. Just want you to know that it was deplorable, of course. This dynamic young man's life was ended by hate. And Charlie Kirk his legacy will live on. Again, this is a special day, and hopefully we'll remember those in our hearts always and just help keep us focused on what's important in life. And that's all I'm going to say on that. But also, I want to say I've been busy running to meetings and have a lot of meetings set up for next week, of course, but also Torrey Alston he had his investiture as the president of Brooklyn College. I have to say, Broward College. I'm sorry, my head's in Brooklyn, as you could tell. I'm still at 9/11 in Brooklyn, but yes, Broward College. So it was a lovely ceremony. So we congratulate him. Also, Monday, I'm going to JA. I was invited. The Deputy Secretary, the U.S., the United States Deputy Secretary of Labor will be there. So Lori reached out, so they're having a reception and a discussion, so I'll be going there, as well as the Broward Public Schools roundtable. We'll be doing that, of course, and also a resiliency roundtable, I believe. Yes. So busy. I thank you all for your contributions to making this city great, and God bless the USA, and stay safe out there. And do I have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting adjourned.